Unlike my last review, I won't be shooting resolution charts. This is going to be a video about my experience with this lens. If you are worried about sharpness, there are tests showing it has the same sharpness as the Olympus 60 or the Panasonic 45. I'm going to leave the full specs of the lens on the video description. It's very similar in size to the kit lens. It's all plastic except for the mount, and it's really lightweight. And the front element is really small, I like that. Keep in mind this is also my first macro lens, even though I'm a macro photographer for more than 10 years now. I usually use lower budget methods like reverse lens, and I just got this one because I got a really good deal on it, and I wanted to see how different it was, especially because no one was using it. It's very difficult for me to see someone shooting, especially insects with this lens, and that made me curious. Here's a housefly as a subject that everyone is going to be familiar with his eyes. It's to show you how the magnification looks. You obviously won't get the head of a fly filling the whole frame, but that's going to be enough for most people. After I get a teleconverter, I still wanna try this one through an extension tube, and if that works without optical weirdness, I'll probably make a second video showing how that works, so do subscribe if you wanna follow that up. Here you can see how close you gotta be to the subject and how large it's going to be the magnification. Notice that the focus is smooth enough that I can turn it with just one finger. And also notice that the edge of the lens is about touching the surrounding leaves. And what seems to turn most people away from this lens is the short working distance. There are a few subjects that are indeed better suited for a longer working distance, such as dragonflies or butterflies. Otherwise, for the great majority of insects and spiders, the working distance is mostly just a matter of personal preference. The one I'm most comfortable to shoot at is between 2 and 3 inches. It seems to be my sweet spot, taking in consideration the diffuser size, the perspective, and camera shake. That said, I do indeed find the short working distance a bit troublesome. Not because of scaring bugs away, but because it limits how low angle you can get. If you try to get an eye level angle of some insect on the ground, for instance, your lens edge will be touching the ground and preventing the front element to be parallel to that small subject. You have to tilt the camera a bit to be more above the subject. And given how small the front element is, this could be prevented if the lens body itself was a bit thinner, but probably Olympus just doesn't want weird looking lenses. For subjects a bit bigger, like frog's eyes, that won't be a problem, and the perspective looks great on tree frogs, by the way. I think you really should keep the perspective in mind if you are comparing this to the 60mm. Remember by that alone how different the images are going to look. This should weigh heavily on the decision between those, in my opinion. I think it would be hard to say objectively that one of these is better than another. It's a matter of personal choice. For me, the wider one somehow has a more realistic look. And it's way less prone to camera shake. For that reason, it's become my favorite choice for shooting low light macro, like this Harvest main on ultraviolet light, where I have to use a low shutter speed. And this wide perspective also gives you the impression of a wider depth of field, even though it really isn't, but it's just because how much more background is cramming there. Look how there are cloud shapes visible in the background, instead of completely obliterated by the depth of field. And I'm not even forcing that. All the shots I've been showing are between f9 and f13, still far from the lowest aperture. I hope this review helps to illustrate how the image is taken with this lens looks and how unique it is. I think it complements other usual macro lenses instead of being a competitor. Thanks for watching. You can check more of my photos at Primal Shooter and on Flickr as tech user.